I have you spell your first and last name, please?
Yep, it's Ryan Duffy, Ryanduffy. Enbridge spokesperson. It's fine. Yeah, that'll work.
And so, can you tell me a little bit about what Enbridge does and what their goal is?
Uh, yeah, as far as line 5, or yeah.
Just a little bit general about the company.
Yeah.
What is Enbridge? What do they do?
Well, we're an energy company. We're the largest operator of pipelines in North America. So we supply a large percentage of the energy used in the U.S. And we have a huge system of pipelines all throughout the country. And so that includes 5 here in Michigan. And we're the owners and operators of Line 5.
Can you tell me a little bit more about like Line 5 and what it transports, what it does?
Yeah, so Line 5 is 645 miles long. It runs from Wisconsin to Sarnia, Ontario, and goes through Michigan. And it moves about 540,000 barrels a day of light crude oil and natural gas liquids. And so Line 5 really does play a key role in Michigan in providing Michigan with energy. So it supplies 65% of the propane people use in the UP, 55% of the propane used statewide, 30% of the oil on Line 5 goes to Detroit area refineries to be used back in Michigan. So people use it in their cars. It's used for the jet fuel at the Detroit airport. It's used to make thousands of different products around the state.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you guys are like responding to all this kind of controversy about Line 5 and the issues surrounding it?
Sure. So our focus right now really is the Line 5 tunnel project. We feel like that really is the best solution for Line 5 going forward, because it makes sure that the line continues to provide the energy that Michigan needs, but at the same time it does further protect the straits and protect the Great Lakes, because the line would be in a tunnel with foot-thick concrete walls 100 feet below the lake bed there, and so it would be fully protected. The chance of any kind of product ever getting out is almost zero. It also fully protects it from any kind of anchor situation, an anchor strike that could potentially happen there at the straits. And also building the tunnel would have minimal disruption on fish and wildlife, because the tunnel is so far under the lake bed.
A lot of people would argue that is such an important spot to Michigan tourism, fisheries, shipping, all of it, that area. So it's the safest thing just not to have it. What would be your response to that?
Well, the line is very safe, and we know that from all of our testing and inspections that we're continuously doing. PHMSA, which is our federal regulator, they looked at all of our inspection data over the last more than 25 years. They did a full audit on us. They found that the line continues to be very safe, in very good condition. We recently did what's called a hydro test, where we pressure up the line to twice the pressure we would ever run it at. And it's the same test we did when the line was first built back in the 50s, and it passed that test. That test showed us all our maintenance work has been working, and the line continues to be very safe. So we know the line's safe, but even given that, we've listened to concerns people have about protecting the water and protecting the Great Lakes, and that's why we looked at the tunnel project and saw that that was the best solution.
If the oil was to stop flowing there, if you were told to shut it down, what kind of disruption would that cause to the area, and what would you have to do? How would you then get the oil around, and what kind of disruptions would that cause?
Yeah, the state did an independent study a couple years ago where it looked at potential alternatives, and it found there really was no good alternative to Line 5 and the route that it's on through there. So there was no better way to move that product. And so, that's part of what led us to the tunnel and coming up with that solution. And as I mentioned, there's just a huge need. So there is a need to get that energy to people, and that's going to continue to be the case. So many people in the UP heat with propane, and we are the provider of propane to the UP.
So it wouldn't be easier or safer to move it by tanker, by truck, those kinds
Sure.
of options?
That study did look at that, and that's an important piece of this. It found that it would take 2,100 tanker trucks every day to move the amount of product that Line 5 does. And so that's 90 that would leave the terminal every hour, 90 trucks leaving the terminal. Or you could do it with 800 rail cars. And that's just one way. You know, all those trucks on the roads that are in need of repair to begin with, and all of that happening, all of those trucks crossing the bridge, that's really not a good option.
Where are we going next? You tell me. Kalamazoo?
Yeah, Kalamazoo.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, yeah, the Kalamazoo still a while back. If something like that were to happen at the Straits of Mackinac, what effect would that have on, like, all the tourism and stuff that goes down there? What effect would that have on that area?
Yeah, we do have layer on layer on layer of safety built into our system at the Straits. So it's really the most inspected and the most maintained piece of pipeline we have in our entire system. So that's how we protect against that happening. I mean, the first step is really prevention in what we do. So we do have automatic shutoff valves on both sides of the Straits. That section is monitored 24/7 by our control center. We also operated at an extremely low pressure, so much lower pressure than the rest of the line. The fact that there are the two separate lines there is another safety feature. It's also nearly inch thick steel that line is made out of. So the way it was built, to all the safety we have in place now, that all goes into making this a safe pipeline. We also do have emergency response equipment positioned there all around the Straits, you know, just in case. Although in more than 60 years, we've never had an incident there at the Straits.
The incident in Kalamazoo, I think a lot of people point to that, and that's where they lose their trust. That, you know, this land was supposed to be safe too. How do you respond to that, and what kind of measures did you take after Kalamazoo to fix that and to fix other lines, the old system?
Sure, Kalamazoo, what happened there was a tragic event for the community, and it deeply impacted our company. And we've invested billions of dollars into safety as a result of that incident. We've made company-wide changes in how we do things. We rebuilt our control center. We added staff and equipment into our emergency response capabilities all across the system. And we've increased the amount of tests and the amount of inspections we do on our pipeline. And that pipeline was completely replaced all through Michigan. And so we did learn a lot of lessons coming out of Kalamazoo, and we made a commitment to restore that area to the way it was. And if you talk to people who live in the area, if you go out there and take a look at the river, you'll see we have lived up to that commitment. And the river reopened in 2012, and it has been restored and even enhanced. You know, we put in several new parks and river access points, so now people use it even more than they ever did. People are kayaking on it, fishing, and so we've lived up to that commitment.
You're confident, your company's confident that Line 5 is safe and can continue to operate without any changes, or without any changes as is right now?
It is safe, and we know that because of the inspections and the technology we use on the system. We are continuously putting inspection tools through that pipeline. We call them PIGs, or pipeline inspection tools. They go right inside with the product, and they're like tiny MRI machines inside the pipe They scan, they can see if there was any kind of issue, any kind of defect, corrosion, or anything that we would need to address. And so all of that shows us, along with the hydro test, all of those things that show us the line is in very good condition. But like I said, we are committed to the tunnel. We think the tunnel is the best solution. It's a common sense solution. We're talking to people all over the state. We're seeing a lot of support for it. I think people are realizing it's a common sense solution where we are going to pay the $500 million to build the tunnel, and then we would give it to the state to run or to have, to own. You could also put other utilities in that tunnel. So, you know, when you look at all of it, when you look at the tunnel solution, I think it makes a lot of sense to a lot of people.
Anything else you want to say? Anything we missed about for the people to know? Anything you want to add?
Well, yeah, I'll say, you know, right now our focus really is on the work we're doing at the Straits right now. So we're moving forward with the tunnel project. We're in the first phase of it, and we've committed to spend $40 million this year on the pre-construction work on the tunnel project. So we have a specialized vessel out there in the Straits right now. It's drilling down into the lake bed, you know, 100 to 200 feet, taking rock samples. So it's doing borings, taking these rock samples, and from that, you know, the geologists we work with, they're going to help us to see where we go next with the tunnel project, how the tunnel would be designed, which sections of the lake bed exactly we want to have it in. And so that rock sampling is happening. It's giving us a lot of good information, and that's, you know, helping us stay on schedule with the tunnel project.
Speaking of the schedule being held up in courts right now, you got some pretty strong opposition from Attorney General, Governor. How are you guys dealing with that?
Yeah, we're optimistic, and you know, we're still hopeful we can have discussions with the governor and come to an agreement outside of court. I mean, I think that would be best for everybody. That would keep the project on schedule where we know we can finish the tunnel by 2024. There's no way to know how long going to court and litigation could take. So that's why we're focused on doing this boring work, staying on schedule, doing the work we're able to do so that we can make sure we can finish in 5 years.
Are you still talking with the governor? Is these talks in progress, or where are we at with that?
Well, we've said we're open and we're willing to come and discuss at any point. We've not lately met with her, but like I said, we're optimistic. We want to. We think we know we do have a lot in common. There's a lot of common ground with the governor. We all want to protect the Straits and the Great Lakes. We all want to make sure that energy continues to be delivered and that the UP has energy. So there is common ground, and we're still hopeful we can have an agreement.
No response from them?
We haven't met recently. No, we'll see where it goes. And yeah, there's 2 court cases making their way through court right now.
All right, awesome. We're just going to do a few cutaway shots. I'll just get them on the camera, so stay tight. You guys just chat about anything. Talk about the map, talk about whatever you got.
A lot of tunnels. How long has Enbridge been around for?
Well, Line 5 was put in 1953 at the Straits. So I don't know if you were there you were at the Straits, I guess?
Yeah, well, they were, but we had a different club there.
Okay. Well, yeah, so it was built in 1953. So at the time, you know, the administration, the governor, elected officials, they wanted a safer way to move oil through the Great Lakes that was safer than tankers moving oil through the Great Lakes. So that's where Line 5 came from. It was seen as a safer way to move that energy and move that oil. And so, you know, that's what it's been now. For more than 65 years, it's never had an incident there in the Straits. And it's been there on the lake bed the whole time.
Okay, cool. All right, do you mind if we leave you mic'd up for just kind of the drive out there, in case you want to just kind of tell us what's happening? We can take it off if you want. But
It probably wouldn't be me saying much.
Okay.
But let me go see where our guys are if you want to get ready to roll.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, so what we'll do is